folks, I'm WP Marshall. And this is the second round of the Command Donut Blind 1v1 tournament. Here we have Loren in blue on the south, and Disk in red on the north. And this, as you might recognise, is SETON'S Grip, or SETON'S Clutch, renamed and remastered for a new age. Ha ha ha. Both players here electing to spawn on the same location. Or rather, yeah, mirrored location. I wonder why they've gone for this one. Maybe it's what they think is the best of both worlds. Kind of forward and defensible. And gives the option to go down the side to get this cheeky expansion up over here. With quick access to the water that is also quite defensible around this bay here, which is nice. You've got a lot of trees for tree economy there too. Air factories right out for both players. Fireflies wandering around. Of course, knowing where your opponent has spawned on any one of the four is crucial. Hence why Fireflies is actually a good choice. And there we go. Loren is the first to find his opponent. Disk about to do the same. There we go. So they both know where the other player is. They both know that they've spawned relative to one another. Loren already up here with some docks streaming through the midpoint. Also have to see whether they decide to go into the water, whether they decide to transition into vehicles. There you go. Just about reaching that max there for that Faber. Yeah, so for 1v1, that, as Phil points out, more mechs and easy defense. Perhaps I need to reduce the mechs for it. Good point. But bombers coming out from Loren just around the back to see if he could catch off any fabricators there. Goes in for a little look-see and sees some air defense. Wanders away, thinks better of it. Bumblebee gets caught out by the elevation change there. Gives Diskraip that chance to catch up. But Loren has a few docks wandering around, just in case Disk ever does send off some Fabbers unprotected. Should be noted that Disk is up onto his third air rather. Loren also up onto 2 air factories, 2 bots. So Disk is going to go forward in the air game here. No real plays into the Naval yet. Looks like the commander might be doing so. Let's have a wander down onto the seabed there. Get up that naval factory. That'll be quite good if he can get some T2 naval there. Sneaky peeky like. Should say that both of these players are pretty decent. Pretty decent indeed. Either Uber or Platinum, from what I recall. And Flub in chat is saying that Loren beat Disk last time. Not necessarily on this map, of course, but still a point to note. Further bot factory coming up from Disk now, perhaps realising, yeah, I need some more land-based stuff. To deal with the fairly decent but fairly defensible aggression from Loren. Oh dear, hello. Good raiding here from Diskraip on all of these distant mechs. Manages to see a Faber going for the snipe there. And manages to pick it off. Very, very nice indeed. I'm surprised we haven't got some combat fabs going around reclaiming all these trees. That would be a joyous amount of economy. But we're floating metal as it is. So we want to be getting up some T2 right about now, or indeed some more factories. I'm surprised that more factories are not popping around. We've got 7 per team, per player. Look at all those docks. It's like an infestation on the beaches there. There we go with the combat fab from Diskraip going into the T2 air very early on. So there's a bit of a disparity. So we've got T2 naval and T2 bots from Loren. And T2 air from Diskraip. No air fabbers going round the back, but some little bits of scouting, and Loren getting there preemptively to stop any sneaky expansions to any of these island-based mechs. The game is going to be crucial, and seeing that T2 air is going to be very important for Loren if Loren can do that, but he's no idea that it's going up right now. Got some nice support for Loren in chat there. Andreas supporting the underdog. There we go, into the naval for Diskraip now as well. Wonder whether we'll see some submarines out first, or some pushing into the T2. It'll be curious to see whether Loren goes for kaijus or for leviathans. Leviathans have incredible power on this map with the range and the coverage that they can get from a naval blockade, essentially. Just send them into these bays with a bit of narwhal defense for the anti-air. And there's not a lot you can do other than have some good naval there in preparation. Does Disk even know of the T2 naval potential there? He does not. But he is aware that a naval factory is complete if he is looking on this side of the map. He might not be. He might not be... well, he might be slightly busy with a few docks stunning around his base. Managing to pick off the odd mechs there as well. Very, very good. Very nice window there that Loren managed to find. Quite lucky. Sets Disk back a bit. Even further into the red. This is where some combat fabs for the Trico wouldn't go amiss, but also some T2 power wouldn't go amiss either. Trying to get up the T2 in his base there is Disk. And going for more T1 naval, perhaps thinking, yeah, I'm going to need a lot of subs to defend here. And some narwhals will be good as well. And there is the air. The power of the air from Diskraip has shown itself with that Phoenix turning that one into a complete one-sided thing. Phil points out in chat that Stingray might be pretty decent for the T2 naval to come out with. And what was that? Stingray first. Huh. Share some insights, Phil. Please do. But for the range that the Stingray can afford, for the sniping potential, that could be pretty decent. But we have got a Kraken wandering around too. Ooh. If that gets in range here, if that Kraken can get into there, that'll be a massive blockade. But I'm surprised we haven't gone for the Leviathans. I really am. The air now, though, from Diskraip, pushing back to Loren, pushing him back in the eco there a little bit. Just a little bit. Looks like we've got some Trico finally being used. Ah, the anti-air from the Stingray, of course. But with the Kestrels now And Loren's economy falling back a little bit. Loren is in a little spot of trouble. But we have locusts and a commander wandering around on his own with T2 air. Oh, I can't help but wince at that. I cannot help but wince at that. I really am surprised that we haven't seen any form of actual push on the ground here. Transition to vehicles could be relatively potent, I feel. Then again, perhaps that's better for team games on this map, where each player is assigned their own particular role. One player for the air, one player for the ground, one for the naval, and so on and so forth. Uh-oh, uh-oh. In come the locusts. Nom 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 from Loren. I'll have some of that metal back, if you please. And the T2 naval building. Kaijus for Diskraip. Interesting choice to go for Kaijus. I feel that's not necessarily optimum for this map. It's not quite so land-based. And you're going to want to win the naval game, and Kaijus aren't necessarily the way to win a T2 naval game. Can the locusts chew their way through that T2 factory? Not quite. Oh, they did give Loren a nice boost of metal there. There's the narwhals. With the Krakens pushing forward. They don't want to push forward too far. We've got some nice torpedo defense here, and Krakens are very, very flimsy indeed. Down they go. One shot onto that Kraken. Get rid of those torpedoes. Kraken only just surviving there, you can see. It should be focused down by these torpedo launchers. There we go. Kraken running away before it gets picked off. Zoom out to each side now so that we can see what's going on a bit better. Loren there, really expanding around the rest of the map. Which is good. Very good indeed. Broom needs to be privy and savvy to this. Otherwise Loren's economy will start to run away. Each player now floating a bit. We get to see some more factories coming up. But this air here though, let's have a count of that. 73 hummingbirds, only a few kestrels, only a few bumblebees, but most certainly a powerful anti-air force. It won't be too long before it's revealed that Loren doesn't actually have all that big of an air force, and he perhaps should do. There we go. This T2 expansion here is on the rocks. Ha ha ha. Disk now even pushing in with a few amphibious docks from the opposite beach. It is pretty undefended from Loren there. That's even more metal going to be picked off, but Disk has the trouble of a few slammers on the front lines here, but the mines, watch out for the mines, Disk! Not Disk, Loren. Pay attention to the mines. Ooh. Painful, painful, painful indeed. I'll tell you what's more painful. That entire T2 expansion back there. It's a good 50 odd metal, if not more. More than 50 metal. Probably about 80 metal there. Because the T2 metal gives what? 24 and 7, so... Got what, 31... mechs for a fully upgraded site, so it's 124 mechs picked off there, setting Loren back quite handsomely. Disk's airplay here really going to come into force, and Loren's inability to defend the rest of the mechs that he's expanded to is perhaps going to be a bit of a problem going forward as Disk gets up most of the T2 in his base now. And has the factory advantage by the look of it. Yep, 21 to 14. Going heavy into the naval. Loren kind of stuck here, I feel. In between several different strategies and not sure which one to really commit to, and I think that's a little bit of a problem that Loren has here. He needs to decide, do I want to go super duper air? Kind of yes, because you need to contest this. Or do I want to go super duper naval? If so, you need more factories. Or do I want to transition to a bit more defensive and get some vehicles going? Bit risky given the naval for the defending team. But vehicles do have the storms to deal with the air. So if they go on the other side here and push around this way, while all the naval bases on this side, they might actually get somewhere. If you get up to T2, of course. We need to see this Leviathan push in from Loren. Get some anti-air going with it. Need a few more Barracudas there from Loren. Though trying to build up some air frantically. But look at all of these Galata around the backside here. Just being a little pesky. A little bit annoying. Picking things off. But this, I feel this could be quite important going into the next part of the game. Because if we get T2 naval on this side, while Loren's entire navy is focused here, now this is where kaijus could be useful because they can roll up the beach, round the back, bish bash bosh. Because there's no naval activity from Loren over here to defend whatsoever. And Loren already on the back foot would probably have an additional nail in the coffin there. If not the final nail in the coffin. While, if that push occurs. But the massive force of Barracudas here, though. From both sides. We want to get that Leviathan down the back. You don't want to be having that out in the middle of a submarine fight. It's a submarine fiesta. You want to get that floating thing to the back. Do we have any further sort of strats coming around from either player, though? Ah. What is this? Sneaky Kraken. Look at that! That Kraken can wander in here and destroy this economy. Absolutely destroy it. And a second T2 naval factory. It's already killed off a bunch of these buildings on the shoreline there. Look at that. There's the submarine fiesta. The T2 air to support. Getting shot a little bit. Running away. Not necessarily necessary. Leviathan needs to back off as the submarines from Disk show their superiority and give chase. All they can do now is hope to get behind some torpedo defense. The T2 torpedoes. Is it going to be enough? I don't know. I don't think so. I think this Leviathan is lost. There we go. It did thin out that Barracuda force quite nicely, but not necessarily enough. Uh-oh. We have that Kaiju pushing in now, and looks like we had that Kraken push in here. Kill off those little bits of storage. There we go. So, Loren still behind with the eco. Disk pushing out a little bit. And pushing forwards as well. Hello. We have a Hawkins. It's going to do a nice bit of zoning here, and it'll pick off on most of this stuff. And it reaches out quite nicely into this ocean here as well. Very, very nifty indeed. Loren back in the advantage with the economy game there. Needs to get more factories though. More than 10 behind Disk now, and most of Disk's are now naval. Have a lot of air and a lot of naval from both of these players, particularly Disk, but I feel like Loren needs to shift up his strategy a little bit. Wandering his commander around there. Barracuda's coming in from the back, trying to do a bit of flanking, but preemptive torpedo defences there. Pick those off quite nicely, and using a flak there is a little bit of a meat shield for the torpedo defences, since walls do not quite do the trick in water. There we go. Looks like Diskraip doing a bit of air scouting, but starting to see the blockades forming here for Disk. Sets him in good stead going into the next part of this game. Was that air sitting over flak? That was a silly decision. Sitting over 2 flak. Very silly decision indeed. And a nuke launcher from Disk is under construction. In the water. In the naval base. And Loren, not doing a huge amount of scouting, manages to see the Hawkins. Let's see what Loren can actually see here. Is he aware of the other naval base? Partly. Not to its full extent, but partly. Oh, he didn't quite see the nuclear launcher there. That's quite important. That's quite big. Here we go. Get rid of that lobber, Hawkins. It used to be called a lob. With these Leviathans and Stingrays focusing down that Hawkins, Loren does not want that in the mix, but there's one up to the north as well, and that nuke is being focused down. Oh no, never mind. It looked like it was from up here, but apparently it's not. The economy continues to grow for both players now. Out comes the Barracuda Force number 2 for Barracuda Fiesta number 2. Need to come back into range of the torp defences if you really want to make some headway here, Loren. Kraken's falling. Anti-nuke launcher located for Loren. Ah, ha, 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 very wise. Where's that being built? Up on the foreground here. Oh, look at this. We've got some locusts. Hold on. A nuke's ready. What? That was incredibly quickly put up. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's not good. Loren, Loren. Ooh. And the nukes are revealed. Loren now thinking, uh-oh. There's a bit of a problem here, and the air engulfs like a lawnmower over long grass. Loren is cut down to size. More anti-nukes located pretty much everywhere. He's trying to rush them up very, very quickly. But the next nuke is almost ready. They're just going up so quickly. Disk is spending all of his eco into this. Every ounce. Can Loren do something about that? He needs to get use of his locusts pronto. And he needs to keep them relatively hidden. And he needs to do something now to get rid of all of this eco. And even Disk is transitioning into locusts just a little bit there. just on the off chance, and it doesn't look like an anti-nuke is ready from Loren yet. Is that going to go for this little naval pocket? It will, and it will hit the commander. Or not. But that's still not very good news for Loren, as even more economy is hit there. Next nuke almost complete already. And yet the anti-nuke launchers are not. Loren, where's the priority? Where are the fabbers? Does he have them? I don't think he does. He's got one over there, nice and complete and ready. The one in his main base is yet to be complete and ready. The commander's only just started building them, but this nuclear creep is going to hurt. I have a feeling that Loren's locusts pushed out and got completely cut down by the T2 air locusts there, as I do not see them anywhere. In it comes, and the anti-nuke over there is not quite finished, but it'll be ready for the next one though. I think Loren is quite fortunate here actually that these nukes haven't gone further into the base. Those nukes could have done a lot more damage, and I think that is a blessing for Loren. It really, really is. In comes the air to scout, thinking, yeah, okay, I know where to launch next, or at least I know where there's a good number of naval factories that I can nuke at next. Does he know where the anti-nukes are? That's the question. He does not. Even Disk is going for the anti-nukes now. But Loren's still just about keeping up with the economy. How is he... Excuse me, how is he managing it? I'm not entirely sure. Locust going around the back again now. Can they get to these naval factories here? Just picking off these, just small wins like that will go quite far now into this end game scenario. Well, not end game, but certainly late game. Bypassing anti-nuke 1. Is there an anti-nuke ready here? Not quite. Going straight into the mainstay of that naval base and missing all of those naval factories. I just want to have a look at what that actually hit, because I don't think it hit very much at all. Yeah. We're seeing the Matisse nukes, the return of the Matisse nukes. Just have a look at where those locusts went. We've got some locusts moving out from Disk now too. And the ground force from Loren pushing in. Locust round the back for Loren. Very nice. Nom 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 nom. That is going to hurt Disk a little bit. Look at that. Knocked right down a peg. Nuclear missile launcher ready. The naval assault from Loren has been repulsed. The anti-nukes being focused down. The Barracudas coming in from the rear there too. Getting rid of that anti-nuke. The next nuke is ready to launch. The locusts were killed off. Slammers have a window to go in though, just to do a bit more raiding, but Disk now a little bit further behind. But Loren's still in the game. A lot of T2 power was just taken out and a lot of defense was just taken out, but Loren still has 30k power on Disk here. In comes the next nuclear missile. That's going to take out a bit more power, a bit more naval factory. Excuse me. The problem that Loren has is he can't really make a substantial push out because the defensive nuke is a possibility, so he has to think a little outside the box here. Can he go for a commander snipe? He can, in theory. If he can get up a unit cannon, for example, he could. He could even try a vanguard drop. There's a bit of an opening round the back there. Very, very risky indeed, but if he puts everything into it... Oh no, move the locusts a bit faster than that. There we go. And ideally not towards the mainstay of the naval defence there. Ah. Here we go. Into the naval factories. Nom nom nom, but the... The Leviathan Rain is just too far ahead. More T2 bot factories here. More locusts, more slammers from Loren. Loren's still ahead in the eco. That is fantastic. How is he managing it? Still ahead in the eco, despite having 4 nukes against him. Despite not having the air game. Is that perhaps more of a failing of Disk rather than an achievement of Loren? Perhaps so. Perhaps that's what Disk needs to do for the time being. Rather than keep throwing things at the brick wall that is Loren's naval base here, perhaps going around and picking off some of the economy there. There we go. He sees the commander. He sees no anti-nukes near him. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Get your commander safe. Get some anti-nuclear missile launchers ready. It's not going to be in time, as this one is going to be launched soon. TM. There we go. There's the nuclear missile launch. Let's have a quick look at the air while we're there for Disk. You can see down there just quite what it's set up with. Not very many Kestrels and bombers at all. Oh dear, that's a large number. Or not as many as you'd expect. Submarines caught in the blast. But still, what if that nuke could have been just off to the side there? I feel as though Loren's survival in this game is rather Disk's failing than Loren's achievement perhaps, but here we have a bit of a push here, but there's nowhere to support it, so quite how far it's going to get I'm not sure. It wants to go the opposite way to this naval defence because it's just so hefty. And watch out for the mines still. The mines are still a problem. Here comes the air frantically coming back to try and defend, but Loren does not have the ability to defend against it. The mines, watch out for the mines. Trying to make a break into the base now. I don't know how far they're actually going to get, especially as the kaijus get into range. There we go. Loren needs to think about what he actually wants to do. Because if he wants to do a head-on assault like that, he needs some anti-air, and he needs to go in the opposite direction. Equally, if he wants to get rid of this air from Disk, as I said earlier, he needs to get back into the air game. Or if he wants to deal with this massive navy that is coming to his doorstep, he needs better naval defences. I mean, he's using his slammers now for the torpedoes there, which is actually quite a decent decision. It has to be said. But we do need... I don't know how... I feel as though slammers... How does their rate of fire compare to barracudas? I'm not sure. But wandering straight into the red laser torpedo zone of death is not conducive to longevity. I feel like this push against Loren here could be the be-all and end-all. Nuclear missile launcher is ready. Is that a second one? Or is that just saying that the nuke is ready? I think that's just saying that the nuke is ready on it. You won't have a second. Oh, unit cannon located. Loren, are you going to try it? Are you going to try that commander snipe? You just have to keep the air away. Loren. Ooh, there is an umbrella there, and there is an anti-nuke there. Needs careful consideration for this unit cannon snipe. Maybe needs even a second unit cannon. But I feel that it is most definitely an all or nothing at this stage for Loren. Disk failing to push in. Waiting for what, I wonder? To kill the anti-nuke? Possibly. Loren's commander now is where? It's not in the bay. Oh, it still is. It's climbing out of the water thinking, yeah, I don't want to be in there anymore. Here comes the air. Is Disk aware of this unit cannon? He's not yet. He's going in that direction. Thank you for the follow. Pedo. Pedo add one. There we go. That was unfortunate pronunciation. Oh. Thank you for... Wow, 500. Blimey, thank you. Thank you for the cheer there, Aces. But crucially, meanwhile, Disk is still not aware of the unit cannon. And the T2 air is finally coming up from Loren. Loren's going for the unit cannon snipe. He's going to get the air to make a nice safe scout into the base. That's a successful nuke right there. That's the money ball. We've even got a colonel now as well. Those are pretty good for anti-air, so that can make a nice land push. A good land defense, that is. Here comes the air there. Still going for advantage Disk. Loren needs a bit better air micro than that, especially with Phoenix. But thinned out Disk's air just a little bit there. Just a little bit. Now this is the real danger. These Leviathans, as they push in, will have range of all of this. All of this area that is currently in my box. Every last bit of it. For some reason it's not selecting all the buildings too. Curious. But that's a problem, and the air still hasn't seen the unit cannon. Oh, this is gloriously... Thank you for the follow, Bears on Rockets. This is a blessing for Loren, but the commander now sat around two umbrellas. Disk there, savvy to the possibility of a unit cannon commander snipe, but these Leviathans now raining death onto the land. The Krakens pushing in with a Leviathan round the back. See the blockade really started to form now. Disk's economy is pushing ahead. Looks like the unit cannon is ready and full. This is it. He's not going for a second unit cannon. Hawkins is ready to defend. It's very fortunate that Disk doesn't have radar coverage of this unit cannon either. That is incredibly fortunate. Oh yes, he does. There we go. There it is. Right there. Why are they not attacking it? Ares is now ready too. But something is killing off those Leviathans, because instead of attacking this unit cannon, they're attacking these things. And the time is bought for perhaps a second unit cannon here. But not very much time. As the Ares is on the prowl, that range. Look at that, and in comes the air. It's going to see the unit cannon this time, for sure. Come on, Loren, you got to do something. You got to do something. Oh, it doesn't! It still doesn't see it! What? What is this? There it goes. There goes the unit cannon, and now the Leviathan finds it and shoots it. Now it's revealed, but There are a couple of umbrellas, so how many of these are actually going to get through? I'm not convinced that many will, and they land in the docks blob. Oh, dear. Ah.
Anticlimax.
I fear that might have been Loren's get out of jail free card torn up at the front desk. What has he got left? Locusts in multiple directions. How successful are those going to be? I'm not entirely convinced that they will be. Disk is just pushing a bit too slowly here. He can really finish this game. He's got a nuke almost ready. He just needs to use this Ares to snipe off those anti-nukes. Or indeed find the commander and pick him off. And he's back in the back of the base. With a couple of anti-nukes between the nuke and the commander. In comes the air now. But Loren... Haha, Loren says, well, I've invested in some air. But Loren there foolishly sending his air to fight away from his flak defences rather than goading Diskraip over them. That would have been much better micro there for Loren to do. Here comes the Ares. Oh, things shoots at the Ares. There's a number of docks waddling around, doing very little. Thank you for the follow, Wombat Nipples. Let's have a look around the back here. There we go. That's where Disk's economy is coming from. He's expanded all around the back. There's another nuke on the way. Where's it going for? Is it going for down here? I hope so. Excuse me. I believe it might be. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's all the T2 air factories missed. Ha! Or not. Half of them gone. Unit cannon! This unit cannon! How is it still alive? It's like the only thing left in this entire area. The Ares was almost nuzzling it with how close it was and failed to kill it. What? And there's the GG from Loren. I can't fight anymore, he says. I've got nothing that I can think of. GG's. Well played to both players there. Loren for sticking it out quite as long as he did, and Disk for throwing quite as many pieces of spaghetti at that brick wall as he possibly could. And there we go. What a game.